So we create AI-generated product visuals for e-commerce stores.
Shit, that's interesting.
Just after a breakup, actually, a 6-year relationship.
How much money you need to buy an agency? Is it like multiple 6 figures? All right, let's go. So, who are you? What do you do? And how old are you?
My name is Michael Lim. I am 29 years old, turning 30 next year, the big 3-0.
My name's Cecilia. I'm from Canada, or specifically Vancouver, BC.
My name is Zane. I'm 21.
21, okay.
I'm 21, yeah. And I'm from Amsterdam.
I've got a media company, which is a combination of the content that I write on Substack, Medium, LinkedIn, and my own email list. I've got a marketing agency that ghostwrites for 8 to 9 figure entrepreneurs, and also a coaching and consulting business that focuses on helping solopreneurs add sustainable monthly recurring revenue.
I'm a copywriter and I own a copywriting agency.
So we create AI-generated product visuals for e-commerce stores.
Holy shit, that's interesting. Like I've never heard that before. Of these 3 things, what is the thing that got you started in your entrepreneurial journey?
I started with my love for writing. Just after a breakup, actually, a 6-year relationship. When you go through a breakup, your mind will do very strange things to you and will just set these random goals. And I set this goal to read like 52 books.
Okay.
Very randomly. And I said, actually, I also want to start writing online. And I've kept that habit. The reading helps the writing.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, because you've always got content and ideas flowing through you. Yeah. So I started writing on medium.com about 6 years ago. But for whatever reason, I just kept going.
Maybe first of all, for some people that are watching, they probably have no idea what copywriting actually even means. Could you maybe explain what that is?
Yeah, it's just the words involved in marketing. Anything related to like a billboard, to an email, to even an article. It's just the words that get messages out there. That's called copy.
Why did you start a copywriting agency?
I actually didn't start a copywriting agency. So I became a copywriter in Bulgaria last year. I met my founder, who is one of the most successful women in copywriters I've ever met. And I didn't realize that as we got to know each other, she was actually vetting me to see if I would buy her agency. That's what happened. It led to a 6-month negotiation process, acquisition process. So I actually bought the business.
So I started off doing e-commerce myself.
Okay.
And I made the visuals for my own stores. Okay. And I was in a mentorship as well. Okay. And one of my coaches came up to me and said, like, you made it for your own store? I said, yeah, I made it myself. And then he said, like, you know, can you make that for other students as well? Ooh. And then that's how the ball started rolling. At a point that it started off as a side hustle, and it became a main hustle. And I'm a big believer that your focus is limited, your creativity is limited, and your time.
Sure.
So I started to focus on the AI generation business for a little while now.
21, so smart. Damn. Okay, interesting. So how is that going right now? Like, do you have a team? Are you working by yourself, or how is that?
The companies, in a sense, they're all interlinked. So the traffic that the media generates, I push to creating leads for one of those 2 businesses. So they're not necessarily separate in how they operate, but in terms of structure, they are separate in my mind, at least. It took me my first 3 years to get 1,000 followers, which on Medium is really slow. That's like very slow. But I just loved it. And the first month, I actually made money from my writing. I made a grand total of $1.42.
Okay.
But it rewired something in my brain.
Yeah,
I was like,
you were getting paid for your passion.
Exactly.
Whoa, okay.
I was like, holy shit, I've made $1 online. And then what happened was like, okay, I was like, if I could make $1, how can I make $10? And if I can make $10, what's stopping me from making 100, 1,000, 10,000?
Yeah.
So although that sum of money was not useful in any way, couldn't really even buy me a coffee in Melbourne, what it did was unlock a psychological barrier that I had, which was I could make money from writing. And that is a big belief. That really unlocked a limiting belief that I had that anyone would pay for my writing. And once I got rid of that in my mind, I was off to the races.
Okay, you're the first person also that bought a business. That's so interesting. Okay, continue, please.
Yeah, I mean, she's still sort of involved in the business, but essentially, like, I run everything and own majority of everything. So every time someone asked me in the past, like, would you ever start an agency? I would always say no, because I didn't want to build one. But in this case, it was already kind of built. I just need to take over and scale it up. So that's what we're doing.
Wow, that is so interesting. Would you say that you were always naturally good at writing?
Yeah, but to be honest, like, even though I may have been naturally good at writing, I didn't know I could write until my late 20s. So it was someone who actually had to tell me, I think you could write. you should apply for a writing job at my company. And that kind of planted the seed because I didn't even know I could write. Like I took academic classes and wrote in English, but a lot of my English teachers, they wouldn't directly tell me like, hey, you can write. But looking back now, I would see like the kind of feedback they gave me, the things they would do, like showcasing an essay as an example for like my whole class. So even though they would never tell me and I would never know, after someone told me that I could, I started to see like the signs back in the day that, oh, like I could. But at the same time, like you could learn it as well.
It started off as a side business where I mainly did things myself. Yeah. But now, as I do it as a main business, we started using freelancers as well. We're building up a team. But it's a pretty awkward phase because at the beginning you still want to do everything yourself because you always think like, no one can do it like me in a quality way. Yeah. And no one's going to work on your business the way you work on your business.
Sure.
So in this point, we're starting to use more freelancers, more people. So we're kind of in a gray zone, to put it like that.
Super cool, super cool.
Yeah. I experimented, failed, iterated, and just kept going. Yeah. So the first 3 years, got 1,000 followers. Okay. From May 2023, I was at 6,500 followers. To today, I'm on 84,000.
Holy shit!
So 12x, which is crazy to think about. Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of it because a lot of people cannot be consistent and would have stopped because they didn't get the results that they wanted out of it. But you had no expectations, actually. You just wanted to write.
So initially, I was going to start a blog. So I wanted to blog write, and the plan was, as a result of a successful blog, then I could start selling SEO copywriting services or blog post writing services. Because if you have your own blog or your own business and it takes off, then you can monetize those skills. You really can. But in my case, because it happened over the pandemic and a bunch of people got laid off and they ended up getting like support or help from the government, many people in North America took that opportunity to change careers. And so for me, it was an opportunity eventually to just go straight for it. Yeah. So that's what I did. I was like, screw trying to build a blog. Let's see if I could use this time to build a freelance business. And to be honest, I struggled for like a year and 8 months, but that kind of leads to, I guess, this whole channel. Like I tapped into a good group and I tapped into a coach.
And how were you sustaining yourself? Because somebody could say like, oh yeah, but if I have all the money in the world, I would also do that because I don't have to do anything else. Like how were you sustaining yourself while you were doing the writing the first 3 years?
I had a very regular 9-to-5 job. In the mornings and in the evenings, I would write. I mean, I wasn't writing all day. It was maybe 1 to 2 hours max. But the problem I was solving was not optimizing, it was just establishing. I just needed to get in the habit of showing up. Whether it was 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever I had, I gave. You need to stick to a specific scope of time. You need to stick to a specific schedule of time. Keep to the schedule, change the scope. If you can't do 50 minutes, do 5. Can't do 5, literally do 30 seconds. It's just showing up.
I think what the beauty of this is, what I hear, right, it's like, it's actually the exact blueprint for success, I would say, but yet too many people find it too boring because it doesn't happen overnight. It's not this quick TikTok video that goes viral. It's not that quick dropshipping business that gives you a certain amount of cash. It's like the years, and especially the first 100, where you had to go through without nobody showing up for you. Yeah. And how do you see the growth? Because I feel like if you do something in the AI space, I feel like every month things are changing. How is your look on that in the future?
Facts. I think that as well. What my look on it is in the future, I think that by 1 year or 2 years, a lot of creators, UGC creators, whatever, they're not gonna have the same amount of jobs they have right now.
Interesting.
And I generally also think that either you're gonna use AI or AI gonna use you. So I'm trying to be on the side that's going to be using AI. Yeah. So I don't know where it's going to be in a couple of years specifically, but I'm trying to be on the positive side.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm only scared for like maybe photographers that are doing photography for products and stuff, and like creators. Yeah. And you said like you bought an agency. Like first of all, like I don't know, even myself, I have no idea like how much money you need to buy an agency. Is it like multiple 6 figures, or does it really depend? Because, and would you advise it as a viable way to get started? Because like sometimes the startup is the hardest phase, and sometimes just buying something that is already working is sometimes maybe a better option, but you have a little bit more experience with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, it is still kind of at a startup level, but it meant that I didn't have to spend multiple six figures. Also because it's a digital business, so that means the overhead is low. I don't have like an overhead expenses in terms of like paying a team every month. So the risk is actually very minimal. The only thing I really have to pay for is like, you know, our websites and all the applications that we use, which it's digital. It's not that expensive. I didn't buy it like entirely outright. I could have if I wanted to, but we worked out a deal where, you know, I paid her a fixed amount to buy rights to the whole business, majority ownership. And then, you know, we split revenue for the first year and then, you know, and then ongoing. So it's just whatever's mutual. And then you get contracts put together.
What would you say like was the mindset for you to keep on going? Because I think most people will stop just because they don't see any results.
One quote that I heard from the Lord and Savior, Alex Hormozy, was that winners and like world-class people give themselves more way to win. So there's a coach who trains Olympic athletes, and his mantra is you always want to PR a session. So if you go to the gym, you might not be able to PR a bench, but could you do one more rep of an ab crunch? PR that. That gives you more ways to win. So the more ways you track your progress, the more ways you give yourself to win.
You know, it's interesting. Yesterday, somebody sent me a message and was like, oh, I want to become a digital nomad. I'm going through this course. But it's, again, first the mindset, and they're always repeating so much things. Like, I don't like it. I just want the tactics. And I was like, I saw that person. I saw myself in that person as well, like a younger version of myself. And today I realized, bro, the mindset is everything. If you get that mindset right, you will get there. It doesn't matter whose coaching you're following. And I think that proved it. Why did you feel like you needed a coach?
I was just sick and tired of, you know, trying things and it not working out. So I needed guidance. But another thing that people don't talk about is I needed accountability. I needed somebody else to kind of like motivate me, somebody to help me stay accountable. And that was great. And then in addition to that, I could tap into his network as well. And that's another thing maybe people don't think about, that sometimes the coaches you work with, you know, they want to help you grow. So if they know somebody who, you know, is looking for a new writer, new whatever the skill may be, they could help you with that too. And that's actually how I got my first 3 agency clients. It was through his referral.
It's something I've heard. I have no clue how it is, but I hear that a lot of people in the Netherlands have like a very negative view of Bali, or like the way they talk about Bali is like, oh, it's not so nice, or only the people that have problems go to Bali. What is your view on that, like being from the Netherlands and being now here in Bali?
First off, I think it's the other way around.
Okay.
I think that if you have issues with yourself, you're gonna be having issues with yourself all over the world.
Amen.
Bali, Thailand, whatever. So if you're gonna be in Bali and you don't like it because this, and this, it's an internal problem. Yeah. And if you don't like the weather, if you don't like the people, you don't like yourself. So that's how I see it. You're gonna be positive all over the world, and you're gonna be negative all over the world.
Beautiful. Thanks. That's a strong mindset there. So how does a day in your life look like from morning till night?
So more or less, my days are just centered around 3 things, which is the ability to move my body, the ability to learn, and the ability to work hard.
Me waking up before 8 o'clock, ideally, not always. If I can, I'll hitch a ride with my husband to the co-working space. I'll try to do like a 3 to 4 hour deep work session leading up until lunch. I'm the kind of person who doesn't really have breakfast because I don't feel hungry in the morning, so I'll just have like beverage. And my favorite part of the day is the beginning when, you know, I have my coffee and my setup and writing my task list. It's just very like cozy. I'll have my lunch. Sometimes I'll maybe squeeze in a surf session because we're in Bali. And then I would try to complete because I tend to get sleepy after lunch, that's when I save the effort for like light work, as we call it. So
it's part of your work.
And then I'll just like head home. You know, me and my husband will just like catch up about our day, and then sometimes we'll go for sunset. That's been like a regular Bali thing, right? Going for sunset because the beach is right there. I'll have some coconuts, maybe a beer, whatever. Talk out about our day, enjoy the scenery, and then we'll go home and we'll either eat our meal, because we recently subscribed to a meal prep service again. We might eat our meal prep dinner, or we'll just order on Grab. Just eat together, watch our favorite shows, or like talk or whatever. Mostly watching a show, because that's kind of what couples do. And then after that, we like to call it free for all, which means like we go off and just ignore each other and do our own thing for the rest of the night, and then hopefully by 11 o'clock I'll be in bed and I'll do my nighttime routine, which that's been one of my favorite go-to wind down routines, and just hang out in bed and pass out.
So could you maybe walk us through how a day in your life looks like here in Bali?
Yeah, so basically, I'm a morning person, but I'm also really a workaholic.
Okay.
So my intentions are to get up in the morning, start my day right, but as soon as I have a thing on my mind, I need to finish up. I can be working until 3 in the morning.
Wow.
So it really differs every day, but my ideally day would be that I wake up, I'm a Muslim, alhamdulillah, so I wake up around 4:30 to do my morning prayer, and then I'll go to sleep for another hour, and then at around 5:30, 6, I try to get up and work until around 4, and I hit my first gym session, and then it's back to work.
Wow, that's a very strict schedule.
Yeah, brother. So yeah, basically we have all our meals delivered. Like I said at the beginning, everything is structured out in a way that we can really focus on the things that's gonna bring us the most out of it. So yeah, that's how my day looks.
Nice. In Bali, how would you say your cost of living compares to living in Canada?
Okay, so obviously it depends what you do. In our case, I'm married, so we do have dual income, and that does make a difference. But it really varies. Living in Bali can be really cheap. It can be expensive because there's Western luxuries here too. But for example, if you're just going around on a motorbike, oh my God, it's 10 times cheaper. I think we're spending $150 a month maximum. Less than that, sorry. Yeah. For all of those commuting fees, and then even just with taking a motorbike taxi. So sometimes we would spend the same amount, but what you're getting is insanely different.
And how would you say is your cost of living in Bali here compared to Amsterdam, you said, right?
Yeah. Good question. I think that Bali, you can make it expensive and you can make it cheap. There are a couple of meal prep companies where they deliver three meals a day for 200 USD. Okay. But you can also go do an open house promotion or different restaurants and get a bit more expensive. So I would say for the general person, 2,000 a month would be a good quality of living over here. And that's in my opinion. Yes.
What can you do for 2,000 in Amsterdam? I have no clue.
You end up paying about 1,500 for rent.
What do you get for that?
Not much, to be honest. I think
2 bedrooms?
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Oh, if you're lucky. Oh.
Also with location. So Amsterdam with renting out, so a lot of people try to find a place around Amsterdam, the small towns around it. Yeah. But Amsterdam is a very popular place. I don't get why. Okay. But it is a popular place. So yeah, compared to Amsterdam, Bali, to answer your question, I think that you get more out of Bali with the same amount of price, 100%.
Right, cool. Where can people find you?
Great question. Most important question. No, they're joking. So you can find me at michaellim.co on Instagram. Same thing on YouTube, Michael Lim. If you're looking for my Substack publication, it's Solopreneur Launch. I've got a podcast on YouTube teaching people how to use their 9-to-5s to leverage it into becoming a solopreneur or a digital nomad.
Thank you so much, my man.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Bit awkward at the end.
Oh, yeah. So our agency website's www.volcaniccontent.com, but you can also find me very active on LinkedIn, so linkedin.com/CeciliaSK. The spelling of my name is weird, though. So it's CECILLYA and then SK. So just kind of all one word. So you can find me there. That's kind of where I post my journey, day-to-day life, things that I've learned, things about business. I also have an Instagram version of that if you prefer Instagram, and all my stories on Instagram, because I don't think LinkedIn has stories. That's where I post a little more about my travels. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You did so good. Wow.
Really?
If you want to get a visual or get a sample for your brand on a visual, you can holler at me at Twitter, Visual Wizard. And yeah, that's basically it.
All right. Thank you, my man.
Yes, thank
you. It was
you.
good.
Yes, sir.
Shit, inspiring story.